Welcome, everybody, to the Inspired Racing League podcast. I'm your host, Elijah Fisher, driver of the number 4 Ford Mustang for the Inspired Racing League. Make sure to go ahead and hit the follow buttons. Welcome, everybody, to our third episode here on the Inspired Racing League podcast. I'm your host here, Elijah Fisher, driver of the number Ford Mustang.
Hi there, I'm your co-host, Mike Hauser, driver of the number 43 Ford Mustang.
And today's episode has two guests with us for today, and they'll be the only two guests for today's podcast. I am joined with a returner after the episode 1. That will be Kameron Wesenberg.
Yeah, that's me, Kameron Wesenberg, driver of the 32 Toyota Camry.
And then we've also got our Las Vegas winner,
Brent Hanrahan, driver of the 95 Ford Mustang.
All right, well, Kameron, welcome back. Brent, welcome to your first episode on the podcast here. So, let's just shoot it right off the bat. A late caution gives Mr. Brent a chance. You get the lucky dog late in the race, and it puts you into position to go ahead and get the victory. So you're lapped down with 17 laps to go, but you wind up in victory lane, and we're just showing it here, the leaders just pass you. What was running through your mind? 17 to go compared to 1 to go.
Well, I was about 2 laps away from pitting. Everyone else had pitted pretty much and taken their last set of tires, or about then. I was running it long, had some damage, needed fixed. Saw that I was in the lucky dog, and was like, well, I just got to play this out now and let the race run out.
So you go from being a lap down with just crossing with 16 to go there, and you end up winning the thing. How did the drive from, well, the back of the field to the front feel, and what did you have to do to get up there?
Well, I had a set of tires in the pits, and then I was on the lead lap, and all but the 32 had old tires. The 32 pitted the same lap as me and got some tires. So it was going to be a dogfight between me and him, is what I thought in my mind. And the restart, I just kind of followed him through the field, let him pick the lane, basically, and just followed him. And then I don't know if the move into 3 and 4 shocked him. I mean, it was pretty early to make the move, or if what exactly was going on there. If it was just he wasn't comfortable, or what was going on. But put me in the lead, and then the caution came out again, and got a good restart.
Yeah, so what was then for you, Kameron? What was kind of going through your mind with 95, a couple of the other competitors, the tire management? What was kind of your plays there, if you would, on the last couple of restarts?
Well, not too sure about the whole strategy there. All I know is the caution came out and I had some tires in the pits and I hadn't pitted yet or something like that. I was finna pit and then the caution came out right in front of me. And we still on the lead lap, so we was able to get those tires there. I had no idea who had tires and who didn't at that point. It was just trying to get a good restart, but the last one there kind of messed us up. I anticipated him going a little bit earlier. I kind of hit the throttle and then had to get back off of it, and then he shut out there and was gone at that point.
Yeah, so I think it was last week we were talking about coming into Vegas. Mike brought up a point about track position, and track position seemed really important. We saw it from Shane Har. He got it on the pole and just seemed to just take off, and it was kind of a similar situation for Brent there. So you think it kind of came down to just not having the P1 restart, or was there something else that kind of affected other than kind of that restart there?
I think the tires were still fairly new at that point. I'm not sure, but 3 and 4 was really loose to me for whatever reason. And I think it was Nate that gave me a shot going in the on the back straightaway there on the last lap, and my car just wasn't sitting right in that turn for whatever it was, whether it was the set of tires we put on there or what was going on. But it was very loose right there, and maybe if I had a little bit more grip down there in 3 and 4, we could have shook it up a little bit more.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm gonna move it over to the Mike here. Mike kind of had the different perspective there. He was technically first car a lap down at the end of the race, which is wild considering there were only 7, excuse me, to finish on the lead lap even. So Mike, you were kind of a mid-pack slash top 5 contender for most of the race. What were your thoughts on the race there at Vegas?
I mean, going into it, I think a lot of us were a little nervous. That first lap, we did have a bit of a caution, and after that, we kind of got single file, like spread out a little bit. Um, and I don't think I pushed it enough there at the beginning of the race. I was really in ultra save mode, and like the beginning of those runs, like I said, we weren't as fast as some of these guys. Uh, but later into the runs, we could really, pick up the pace. Like I said, that first set of pit stops, we went from like 14th to like 5th. And unfortunately, just at the end of the day, that last caution didn't come out at a good time. In hindsight, I probably should have stayed out a bit longer, and tried to catch a caution instead of pitting a bit earlier, and that kept us a lap down. And then I proceeded to lose the lucky dog twice in a row, so I wasn't very happy about that, and I thought we had a lot more speed than we could show. But I actually want to turn a question back on Brent and Cameron. Paint the picture for me earlier in the race. Brent, you mentioned that you had some adversity to overcome. You had a little bit of damage early on, and I believe you even said that earlier in that run you kind of burnt your stuff up a little bit. What happened there earlier in the race that kind of put you in that lap down position towards the end that ultimately won you the race there?
Yeah, so uh, it was pretty early in the race. Got stuck in some traffic, and the car was just tight, and hit the wall a little bit. Had a little bit of tire damage or fender damage or something. I'm not sure exactly what it was. Um, had like I don't know, like a minute of repair, but it was enough to definitely feel in the car and change how the car drove. Um, that was before the first pit stop, I believe. So first pit stop, we just came and took all but like 10 seconds of it just to see how the car drove, and it was better. Definitely needed that extra 10 seconds there. Um, I ran the first stint long all the way out on fuel, and I want to say I ran the second stint almost just as long. So I saved a set for the end, hoping a caution would come out, and it just happened to fall at just the right time, honestly.
You also mentioned there that when you got that damage, it kind of changed how the car drove. Can you explain to the audience how different types of damage, whether it be aero or maybe mechanical, how that can really affect how the car drives, and what were you experiencing when you got that damage?
The car definitely got tighter. I'm guessing I hit the right front on the exit of a corner, and it towed my right front or cambered my right front a little bit different and burned the tire off basically. Um, the these cars are very, very fickle with their aero, and if you're too close to the wall, if you're too close to another car, like there's a lot of inches play, like being too close to somebody.
Yeah, I kind of noticed that too. It was just like sort of the air was kind of affecting how my tire wear was handling a lot. Like there was a point in the race too where like me and the three were side by side. We made a little bit of contact at one point too, just because I just, entering the corner, it just didn't want to turn with that car on the inside.
Yeah. Yeah, and
Absolutely.
that damage didn't help that. So I definitely had something messed up. I didn't expect to win. I expected to be, first car lap down or, even 2 laps down. I was 2 laps down for a dang good majority of the race. And just couldn't believe that I got it.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
Well, Cameron, you've been a racer in real life, and did you think with kind of your back history, I guess, with the racing realm, this kind of seemed like it was one of those races. Some drivers were saving tires, some weren't. Was there a huge difference in this race and your perspective on that? And were you having to use some of that background racing to kind of conserve that tire?
Yeah, I'm not too good with the conserving the tire stuff. I'm usually just hammer down, but uh, I try to play it more to the strategy and try to split the pit stops up the best I could with the fuel mileage on top of still being able to have good enough tires on the car to be able to keep speed and be able to cycle back through at the right time and be in a good spot there. And it was pretty much that caution that just set everything up to be um, where we didn't have to worry about the fuel anymore, and it was just you just got to go at that point.
Yeah, for sure. So we're going to move forward now to talk about next week's race. And this is a track, Brent, I think it might be circled on your calendar here, but it is the one and only Auto Club California Speedway. What's your thoughts with this one next Monday?
I think I'm gonna keep my thoughts to myself right now.
Okay.
I'm gonna play the fifth.
Got some secrets you want to share with us? Is that why you're staying tight-lipped right now?
I've ran that track a lot.
Oh, okay.
I've spotted at that track a lot. That's about all the info I think I'm gonna give right now.
So you think you can take over the points lead from Cameron after Auto Club?
I want to say yes. I'm not gonna say yes. I want to, but we're just gonna have to see how this race shakes out.
I probably wouldn't say yes. I definitely wouldn't say yes.
Auto Club is a fickle beast.
Okay.
And it really depends on the racing and how aggressive everybody else is on how it's going to play out.
Yeah, I think you're right about that, Brent. I think we're going to have to bring that conversation back up about saving or pushing, and I think this track you're going to have to see a bit more patience out of the drivers. Like you said, Las Vegas is more of like a one groove track. It kind of seemed, like near the end of the runs, you had some people, starting to push it up to the top a little bit or entering high and then arcing it back down low. Where at Auto Club, you're going to have multiple lanes throughout the entire corner. You're going to have people, bottom feeding. You're going to have people running the middle. You're going to have people riding up on the wall. And I think that's where you're going to have to be a bit more patient, I think. The tires are going to wear out. And the surface is very bumpy and you're going to have people choosing different lanes. So what do you think about that? I want to hear that from both of you. Do you think you're going to see a bit more patience and saving this week, or do you think it's going to be more, aggression and having to keep up the pace?
Go ahead, Cameron. Go ahead.
Well, I'm gonna need to know a little bit more information to be able to give an accurate answer. How many laps of fuel do we get, and how many laps is the race? Does anybody know that?
I know it's 100 laps. Fuel is set to 75, so I think it's going to be Anywhere from probably 21 laps to 27 laps of fuel, I think.
Yeah, something like that.
But it is a 100-lap race.
I think right away people are going to be aggressive. Till we get the first, I don't know, probably 2-3 cautions out of the way. This is just me looking into the future.
Yeah, I see 4 or 5 wide
Mm-hmm.
on the front straightaways. It's a good possibility. We can make it happen. I mean, we can all get together. There's 4 of us right here.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, we finished 1, 2, 3, and then 8th, I think it was for Mike there. But, yeah, I mean, I guess if I had to share my thoughts on Auto Club, I think it's going to be different from Vegas for the fact I think people are going to experiment with the lanes a lot more than we saw with Vegas. Mike was mentioning Vegas was a one group track, but I thought it was funny because when he was saying that, I was watching a 3-wide battle to display on the video part of the podcast there, so that didn't sit too well. But other than that,
a bit poorly.
Yep. But other than that, I think what we saw at Vegas and the amount of effort drivers are trying to put into to discover different lanes. I mean, for myself, it took me until about lap 50 at Vegas to kind of figure out what was best and what I preferred. But there was still 2 or 3 other options of lines, and I think Auto Club's going to be. I mean, yeah, you could probably get about 5, 6, maybe even 7 wide into turn 1 at the max, and there's still going to be 14 lanes probably total that are available to run. So is it going to come down to what has the most grip, what's been ran the most, or is there going to have to be another factor? Do you have to conserve tires, do you guys think?
I think so. I think you're going to have to do a bit more tire conserving this week, at least compared to last week. I still think you need to be a bit more aggressive and, kind of learn that lesson from Vegas. You need to push a little bit earlier, a bit more. But I do think with just the abrasiveness of the surface and, the different lanes, you're going to need to be a bit more patient and maybe a bit more disciplined when it comes to how hard you're pushing it and how far into a run you really want to push those tires. So, what are your thoughts and opinions on that, guys?
I like the discipline. Um, it's going to be a lot of discipline. Like I said earlier, this track, Auto Club as a track changes. Yes, there's multiple lanes, but it's going to kill tires. I mean, it's just a wore out track.
Do you think track position is going to matter as much as it did at Las Vegas? Now, obviously, with this package, track position is super important, but do you think we might see a bit more of comers and goers this race? Or do you think it's going to be more, you got to start up front and you got to stay up front?
I think if the leader gets 5 seconds out, he's got a pretty good chance.
That too. Yeah, if we have Shane Haar running away with it again, you might it might just be more of a track position.
The draft is big, and the side draft and the way these cars work, it's big with these cars. I don't know. It's gonna be a wild one. That's all I know.
Yeah, I agree with that. What are your thoughts on all this, Cameron?
I think I'm going to try to stay out of the way. And then hopefully the racing lane widens up and I can go up there and try to rip the fence and try that method and see how close I can get to it without hitting it. And then if I do hit it, count how many times I do hit it so I can have stats to go back and look at.
Right. That's kind of what I was telling Team Ford when we were kind of breaking down the track. I said it's going to come down to either being up by the wall or being down on the white line, and there might be something in between that is just going to have to work its way out. And maybe, I mean, I don't know how Brent's going to do it, but he thinks he's got something cooking up there. But let's talk about points for a moment here. So it was brought up after Daytona. I asked Cameron, I said, well, it's going to be at least till after, would have to be Auto Club if he's going to be off of the top 3 area. Well, right now, Shane Har has the most points. He's sitting in 4th, though, because obviously Steven, Brent, and Cameron are the winners. Cameron, though, you've got a 23-point gap right now over Brent. So that is a lot of points over him, and that's the same number over Steven. So unless Shane Har gets a win, you'll be the points leader for another week. You think you can hold on to it as long as Shane Har doesn't win? Or I guess walk me through your thoughts here and, being, again, with that advantage early in the season, how do you manage it?
It's always next race mentality. It's just another race. You go out there and do what you can with it. You get wrecked, you just get wrecked, but you always gotta be after it. I'm actually driving the car right now, so I'm finna tell you how it feels going down turn 1 and 2 right here. Just give me a second.
All
Right
right.
now, we got it wide open, ain't lifted yet. Oh, yeah.
That didn't sound too
It's,
good.
it's real tight right there in the middle of 1 and 2. Now we're going down the back straight away. We're only hitting about 180 by myself.
I mean, talk about having some live updates.
I know. I think Cameron just opened up the idea of having a live broadcaster in the podcast.
Now 3 and 4 felt really good. There's a little free down there. I'm gonna try 1 and 2 again. Now that I got some heating tire.
Actually,
then we're gonna pass it on to the next guy. What you got there?
Well, I just caught this on the video portion here of the podcast, but a couple of fans were asking why was the 4 pushing the 95. Well, I was told he either ran out of fuel or you blew the engine, one of the two.
I blew it up.
Doing too much burnout. So that was what that push was. I was trying to do my interview at the time there with Matthew, and I'm just trying to sit there. I'm like, sitting in my head, I'm going, come on, move. Come on, move. And I was trying to hold back from saying that while I was talking. That's what that was all about. That was nothing me angry at you.
That was me having it in 4th gear, not neutral, and asking for a push.
Right.
Oh man. I actually have a question here for everybody in the podcast. I'll start with Elijah. Since we are on the topic of Auto Club and the idea of multi-lane racing, I want to hear what everybody's preferred lane is, where they like to be on the racetrack if they had the choice. Now, I think I know what Elijah's preferred lane is, considering who his favorite driver is. But let's start with you, Elijah. Where do you want to be on a racetrack?
Left side tires on the paint, on the bottom lane. There's nothing better. That is the bread and butter to oval racing. That is going to be the bread and butter for just finding some extra oomph in the corner, if you would. There are going to be racetracks where the top lane is going to be preferred, like Kansas Motor Speedway. It's just kind of, I just count Kansas as a reverse because I love Kansas. It's probably one of my favorite tracks to run. I count it as a reverse. I just say the bottom's the top. But it comes down to Phoenix Motor Speedway, Kevin Harvick putting that left side tire on the paint in what was 1 and 2, or is 1 and 2 now, was 3 and 4. And that's just taught me everything for getting onto the bottom lane. Just knowing how to get onto a corner, sit on that paint, and figure out, where your throttle points are up. The problem I have with running the top sometimes is that you can get a little bit over, I'm not going to say over your head in a sense, but you can always push it a little bit extra, and that wall's closer, so there's a lot less room to miss your entry point. And that's something too that I love so much about the bottom is if you enter a little bit higher, sometimes you can kind of let the thing really rotate, and then you just bring it down to the bottom through the center of the corner, and even on the exit they're a little bit better. That's just my favorite spot to be at on the track.
Some great insight there. I think if I'm ever on the track and I see Elijah not running the bottom, not running that Harvick line, he must have been kidnapped. That's not the real Elijah.
Unless I'm blocking you at the end, Mike.
Yeah, unless
So
you're blocking me, I'll know it's not you.
so Elijah has the bread and butter, but I got the meat and potatoes.
Is that what we're calling
Well,
the
my
top, the
bad.
meat and potatoes?
That ain't the top, baby. I can run the top if I want to,
I can too. I just
but
don't want to be
watch,
up there all the time.
just watch out for that second lane. One line right above the paint. Watch out.
That is a really good line, I will admit. You got quite a few lines to choose from. How about you, Cameron? Yeah, we got some laps being run by Cameron here right now. What do you think? What's your preferred lane?
Oh, well, definitely go towards the bottom and 3 and 4 down there and try to do a high arch and sweep out of there. Hopefully, that felt pretty good. 1 and 2, it's real tight coming off turn 2, so I predict that's gonna be a trouble area in the race. People are gonna get real tight, and I
Mhm.
think that's gonna be a big there's gonna be a wreck over there. Y'all just make sure y'all got the camera on turn 2.
Yep. That's where it's gonna happen, boys. Turns 1 and 2.
Yes,
Well,
sir.
now we know where we have to have a camera set up.
I do have to make a correction though. It's not always the bottom. Every track's gonna be different, but I'm not gonna get kidnapped if you see me run the top. I will say that, but it's. I guess everyone's gonna say there's a preferred lane, and then there's the line of the track in a sense. So Vegas, what I found out was it was up by the top is where I was finding my speed, so that's where I had to be. But if I could have had the option and it was quicker, it would have been the bottom. So I'll say the option I guess for me would be the bottom. Preferred lane, compared to where the grip's at, sometimes it's going to be a little different. Um, I did a little bit of testing for Legacy Texas here in coming up in 2 weeks, and that was kind of a repeat. It was full throttle like Vegas was for most of the run, but once those tires started to come into play, it was a lot sooner than it was at Vegas, and I was having to lift a lot sooner. Turn 2 was also a trouble spot. So, with that in mind, does anyone feel a little bit of redemption going to Texas if they had a poor race at Vegas?
Mm. I
Um,
mean, I I lived early. That's been my mentality for years. I let the car come to me and try not to use brake. So I'm not too stressed about it. You know,
Okay.
in a sense.
What about you, Mike? You were talking about, you mentioned it in the chat, like some of that race did not go the way you wanted it to. Um, it was one of those things the pack just kept on splitting. You seemed to kind of find yourself on the wrong end until really late in the race, where you were making a run back towards the front and then just got caught up in a couple of things. If Texas could go and kind of be that redemption to Vegas, what are you going to be doing differently?
um, see, as much as I want to, you know, play it cool at the beginning, I feel like you can't let the pack get away from you too much. I think at Vegas, I definitely let the pack, split from us. Like Steve and I, we were kind of running together. There was like two packs or two or three packs. There was the leaders, which was just Shane Har and I think it was Jordan. They were racing 1-2. Then there was a big pack of like maybe 10 cars, which I think had a lot of you guys in it. And then
Hmm.
like behind that was like Steve and I. And it took basically the whole run for us to catch up to that like, you know, pack of 10 cars. Um, and like I said, by the first pit stop, we really leapfrogged a couple guys. We went from running like, 13th, 14th place to running like fifth and sixth place. So I thought, all right, great. I just got to keep doing that. And as the runs went on, you know, we would kind of, we'd pit and then some guys would blow our doors off, but then we'd catch back up to them by the end of the run. But kind of at the end there, we just didn't it just didn't pan out for us, and I feel like we should have just pushed it a bit farther or gone a bit longer. So I think overall, I think you just need to learn from Vegas and maybe push a little bit more at certain points, but you don't want to overdo it either because, like you said, like you have to lift at certain points, and later in the run, it becomes so difficult to pass other cars with dirty air. Like when you get underneath somebody, like the car just it becomes a snowplow, and you have to lift, or you're gonna end up wiping the guy out that's on top of you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, those are some really good points. Well, we are getting to time here, but that is okay. I guess the last racing question we're going to ask Cameron, this one is from the fans. They want to know, are you going to be one of the most winning drivers this season? They noticed you got the win from Daytona. Road course was a little different there, but I think it was showing you've got some speed at the circle tracks.
Yeah, I think we can get a couple more wins. And probably ain't at a track like Daytona, probably a short track or something, or even Auto Club coming up here. I'm pretty stout here at Auto Club, so I'm looking forward to this race. So hopefully we can chalk up a few more wins before we get it later into the season there. But yeah, I think we can hold our own and go pretty deep in the championship run here.
Yeah, and you actually this was brought up at one point in the podcast. We mentioned you are a short track driver. The short tracks, there's two of them. Bristol, North Wilkesboro, they play out in the playoffs. Is that going to play to your advantage if you make it in?
Yeah, I think I'm pretty good at Bristol. Just won an ARCA race there earlier in the little official sessions up here. So definitely can get it done at Bristol. My second truck win on here in the Maconi series was at North Wilkesboro, so that's probably two very good tracks for me. So definitely.
Yeah, we'll be looking to see the talent. That was something to mention though. The ARCA series has been announced for Inspired Racing League. That is going to be on Saturday nights, and
The number 32.
oh yeah, of course, everyone's got their same numbers locked. Is this going to be another one of them series that's just going to be great racing, or do you think we're going to have some ARCA breaks?
Yeah, I think it's gonna be pretty good racing in there. Hopefully when it's all said and done, we can rename it after me. But
The Wesenberg series.
That's good.
sounds yeah.
All right. Well, Mike, God, I said Camo. That's the nickname. Brent and Mike, thoughts on the ARCA series?
Wish I could do it.
Dang.
I'm looking forward to it. I didn't get to drive the ARCA car yet. I don't have my setup with me, but I'm looking forward to doing any type of racing with Inspired. So I consider this my main league, and I guess having another race that I can use to scratch that itch until Monday nights is always great. Especially if we put Pocono on the schedule. I don't know what the schedule is yet, but if we put Pocono on the schedule, you will see a 100% attendance rate from Mike Hauser, and I'll be I don't know. I'm looking forward to it, just having the guys racing another series, and I'm looking forward to seeing how different the racing is from the Cup Series.
Yeah, I wish I could join it. I don't know if I can do Saturday nights yet. I gotta talk to the family about that.
Yeah, well, if you're able to join, great. If you're not, it's one less car I got to worry about.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, well, last question we've been asking everybody who's new on the podcast here, and we'll start a new question. So, guys, utilize the comments here on the YouTube. Make sure to post some questions here that we can ask in future weeks, or anybody else you want to see on the podcast. So the question has been going out. So Brent, what is your favorite beverage, your favorite food, and if you have to have a snack when you're on the racetrack, what's that snack?
Well, favorite beverage would have to be either Miller Lite or a Coors Light.
I knew that was coming.
Usually don't eat on the track. I don't snack. My favorite food, we're gonna have to go with steak and eggs, man.
Nothing better. Nothing better than some good steak and eggs. Yeah. And that's a breakfast, lunch, and dinner food too. I mean.
Oh yeah. Oh man, that's any time of day.
Exactly. What kind of steak, and how do you want it cooked?
Sirloin, medium rare. Rare, medium rare.
Okay.
I like rare more, but
Yep. I was gonna say that's also my favorite cut. Same temp. I mean, I'll be over at your place pretty soon here if I do so invite myself.
Yeah. Smoker's ready.
Yeah.
Smoked medium rare steaks, buddy.
Yes, sir. Mike, is that on the do not eat list for you?
Dude, I've tried steak, and I think it's the texture, but maybe I just had it the wrong way. So
You didn't have it straight off the cow. Straight off the
That's what I'm
cow,
saying.
buddy.
I need to listen to our steak expert Brent Hanrahan over here. I will say I have tried steak, and I think for me a lot of the foods I just don't like is texture based.
So what is good? You said it was your chicken tenders.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
What else? What else is your go-tos?
Grilled cheese. Grilled cheese is always a go-to. Brent said you can have steak any time of the day. Well, I'd argue the same for pancakes. I think you can have pancakes for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Yep.
And that's something I'll take to my grave. If someone says you can't have pancakes for lunch, I'm gonna make some pancakes for lunch. I don't care.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. I hear that.
All right.
Oh, man.
What about you?
I wouldn't put it on the top, but yeah, I'm with that.
Right. What about you, Cameron? What's some of the things you're going for?
Just in general, are we talking about it in the race?
Yeah, just in general, I guess. What's your food takes?
Well, I'm eating some chicken right now. Got a little hungry, so I had to stick some in the microwave. It's pretty good. I
Okay.
like anything, really. But sushi's still my go-to. Had some today for lunch. Gotta have my sushi. It's a good diet.
Okay. Sushi diet. Mike, is sushi on the do not eat list?
Absolutely on the do not eat list. That's one place if someone takes me, I'm like, I'm not eating anything here. I'm sorry.
But what if I told you if you ate some sushi, you'll pick up 3/10 on the racetrack?
Ooh, all right. Oh, okay.
Reconsidering it. I can't. I would
So if
not. I'm still saying no.
If I eat sushi, I'm gonna be getting real sick in the car. But if it gives me 3/10, hey, I mean, I'll change my fire suit after I win.
I've had sushi. Not a fan. Had to try it though.
Fair enough. Yeah, I'm not a fan of fish. I'm just not a fan of any fish or seafood at all. So it's not on the list for me.
Gotta have a catfish straight out the river.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
I like fish.
I'm not a bear, so I'd have to disagree.
Yeah.
Frickin'
Okay.
Mike.
Okay,
Hey,
Mike.
I am just glad I have something that I can pick on Mike throughout the race. When he's behind me, I can be like, "Hey, Mike."
That'll be our
Here we go.
motivation for Mike. Mike, if you can get around the 27 here, we got some chicken tendies at the end of the race.
Man, Brent, I thought we had a good thing going there. I didn't never pick on you, and here you are. All right.
I know. I'm sorry. I instigated it. I'm sorry, brother.
It's okay. No, it's all right. I see.
Hey, it ain't gonna change how I race with you.
No, it doesn't.
I'm just gonna motivate you more.
Right?
Maybe I
Just
need I need
don't
some
worry about the
motivation.
chicken tenders
Okay.
hanging off the back of my car.
So I just need
Don't
to
worry
put
about 'em.
chicken tenders, grilled cheese, and pancakes together,
Yeah.
and Mike's got a victory. That's his keys to success, right? And like
Yep.
we'll all be over here talking. Oh, you gotta save some fuel, a little bit of tires here. Mike's just gonna be chicken tenders, some grilled cheese.
I'm just gonna get a paint scheme with some chicken tenders on the back, and Mike's gonna follow me all the way through the race.
Right. Okay.
I'll find some speed from that.
I want to say it was Shane I was talking to one night, and he had said something about it was just we were just talking food, and I asked him, I was like, okay, if you're gonna put together a burger, like what's your go-to burger? And I can't remember his recipe, so we might have to have Shane on in the next one just to talk about the best burger of all time. But
I think the best burger of all time is that glazed donut with the bacon and the cheese. Yeah, and the lettuce, yeah, everything on it.
I can't give
Yes,
you guys.
sir.
I cannot give you guys my burger recipe.
Mike, if you tell me the burger's on the do not eat list,
I'm gonna.
you're pleading the fifth.
On this question.
Oh my goodness.
I'm not saying no. I didn't say no.
So
I didn't say
Mike
no.
has said not
It's a texture thing.
not
so
a pizza.
It has to be
not
right.
a
It has
burger.
to be right.
Gotta be the right texture.
I see that.
That's fair enough. So you're a huge broccoli fan, right?
No. No.
You good with pastas?
Pasta?
Okay, what's the Mike diet in a day? Let's go over Mike's diet in a day.
Oh,
Mountain
God.
Dew,
I
right?
didn't know that. I didn't know this was the Let's Bully Mike over his eating habits podcast.
I'm not bullying you. I just want to know. Okay, so Mike wakes up
Wanna
in the
know?
morning. He grabs a Mountain Dew, right? That's
yeah.
the start. Okay.
Yeah.
Good start to the day.
And then you're going for.
I don't know. It depends on how hungry I am, but usually in the morning, like I said, I got to get up pretty early for class. So it's got to be something quick, like a Pop-Tart, Pop-Tart donut.
Good.
Something quick. And then if I pack a lunch, I'll probably, make grilled cheese or, peanut butter jelly, something I can have quick. Or, if I don't pack a lunch, I have to walk to, we call it the hub, and I usually just get Burger King.
What's the Burger King's where you get the chicken tenders, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's not going there for a
Not the
burger.
burger.
There's no burger intended in
No
the Burger
burger.
King.
No burger.
No
inside.
burger intended in the Burger King. Just the
Oh,
chicken.
No.
You going for any sushi at dinner time then?
No. I won't be going for sushi. Maybe I'll make some mac and cheese or some
So,
pastaroni.
okay.
something like that.
All right. So before my mom starts, going over with her biology and chemistry studies on me, how are you getting the nutrition then? I'll ask for her.
I'm actually taking a nutrition class right now, and I was wondering, like, dude, I probably don't even get like the required nutrients I need every day, but I was a little shocked. Actually, in protein and carbohydrates, if I'm not like over like the daily recommended intake, I'm like right there. Like I'm at about like 90% of the daily recommended intake. So I was a little bit pleased with that, but there are some vitamins that I do want to get in my diet, and it's a little tough when you have a bit of a limited food palette. So I don't really know how. I'm not gonna lie. I'd have to pull up the PDF of because I had to like basically map out like my meals for like 3 days. But
It was a short list.
Right.
it was a short list.
I'm sorry, Mike. I had to.
Oh my god.
I'm quick. I'm sorry.
No, that was really good. That was really good.
Oh, I'm sorry, brother.
This turned into the Inspired Racing podcast into Mike's diet.
Where we go into detail about Mike's diet and
Cameron,
I would try to do something
Cameron's
to
just
better
sitting over there with his chicken right now, just like.
All right. It's about that time. I'm gonna have to go.
Yeah, it's all good. All right, like, subscribe, do your things on the socials there. Give us the wonderful things, and make sure to comment. We want them comments. Should we bring back Brent? That's the question, because now he's turned on to a bully.
Absolutely.
Turn
I
into a
love
boy.
this. This is great.
I apologize.
I
Mike.
love the banter. No, I love the banter. Like my first podcast, I felt so like nervous, and I felt like it felt a little stiff. I'm not gonna lie. So having Brent on here and Cameron, with some of the witty banter has definitely made it a lot, easier to kind of like get into a groove. So
Heck
I was nervous right away, but as I talked a little bit more, you could tell I loosened
I think
up quite a bit.
everyone on the podcast has been saying the same thing.
I
But
loosened up quite a bit.
we got to close up. Brent, Cameron, thank you for
Peace.
joining. Mike, as always, we'll see you YouTube.